Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine ignited in February 2022, the CV90, a Swedish-engineered tracked infantry fighting vehicle from BAE Systems Hägglunds, has emerged as a pivotal component of Ukraine's Western-supplied arsenal. Initially delivered in early 2023 as part of Sweden's military aid, the CV90, predominantly the CV90-40 variant with its formidable 40mm Bofors autocannon, arrived with an opening salvo of approximately 50 CV90-40C units, completed by mid-2023 after Ukrainian crews underwent rigorous training in Sweden. This marked the start of a collaborative international effort to fortify Ukraine's mechanized capabilities. Denmark joined Sweden in December 2023, pooling resources to fund and deliver around 20 additional CV90s, backed by a $263 million package that included spare parts and maintenance support to sustain operations. The Netherlands escalated this commitment in June 2024, injecting over 400 million euros into a joint Swedish-Danish fund aimed at producing 180 more CV90s, with some assembly shifted to Dutch plants and first deliveries slated for 2026. Ukraine itself has stepped into the production arena, sealing an August 2023 agreement with Sweden to co-manufacture up to 1,000 CV90s domestically, a bold bid for self-reliance amid prolonged conflict. Sweden's June 2024 order of an unspecified number of new CV90s for Ukraine further fuels this pipeline. By March 2025, an estimated 70 to 75 CV90s have reached Ukrainian hands, a figure poised to swell as these multinational efforts bear fruit. Deployed exclusively with Ukraine's 21st Mechanized Brigade, the CV90 has been thrust into the crucible of Ukraine's eastern and northeastern fronts. Since its combat debut in June 2023, it has underpinned infantry operations in the savage Bakhmut sector, shored up defenses around Kupyansk, and, by early 2025, clashed with Russian units near Terny in the Kharkiv region, just miles from the border. Paired with Leopard 2 tanks and Archer artillery, it forms the backbone of elite, Western-equipped formations designed for swift, decisive action. Its combat record is a blend of grit and grind. The 40mm cannon has torn through aging Russian armor like T-62s and BMPs, while its advanced composite armor and Barracuda camouflage, reducing thermal signatures by up to 70%, have defied drone and artillery assaults. A notable instance near Bakhmut saw a CV90 shrug off a Lancet drone strike and a 120mm mortar hit, its crew unscathed, a tribute to its engineering. Yet the war's toll is evident. Oryx data logs at least 5 CV90s lost or damaged by early 2025, including a July 2023 loss near Kreminna, where an RPG strike led to abandonment and Russian capture. Of the initial 50-unit fleet, 2 are confirmed destroyed and 3 damaged, yielding a 4 to 7% loss rate that underscores the conflict's brutality. No crew fatalities in these incidents highlight the vehicle's protective prowess, a lifeline in Ukraine's attritional struggle. With 70 to 75 CV90s delivered by March 2025 and 5 confirmed losses, Ukraine likely commands 65 to 70 operational units, assuming minimal unreported attrition or successful repairs. This modest fleet fills a vital tactical niche, straddling the divide between Ukraine's fragile Soviet-era BMPs and ponderous tanks. Its 550 to 1,000 horsepower engine, variant-dependent, conquers Ukraine's muddy, black earth, and rugged landscapes, outmaneuvering older IFVs, while its modular design, though currently limited to retrofitted CV90-40s, offers upgrade potential. Sweden and Denmark's logistical support keeps it rolling, but its scarcity confines its influence to select units like the 21st Brigade. Beyond numbers, the CV90's strategic import lies in its role as a testbed for Ukraine's military evolution, especially if domestic production scales. It's a linchpin in a nascent shift toward NATO-aligned forces, a vision bolstered by Ukraine's industrial ambitions and the brigade's integration of Western systems. A comparative lens sharpens the CV90's profile against its battlefield peers. Ukraine's BMP-2, armed with a 30mm cannon and paper-thin armor, collapses under modern threats like FPV drones and ATGMs, with hundreds lost. Russia's BMP-3, wielding a 100mm gun, trades protection and agility for firepower, hemorrhaging over 600 units per Oryx. The US-supplied M2 Bradley, with over 200 delivered, pairs a 25mm gun with tow missiles, excelling against tanks but lacking the CV90's 40mm versatility. Dozens have fallen due to wider deployment. Germany's Marder 1A3, numbering about 100 in Ukraine, mounts a 20mm cannon and lighter armor, trailing in punch and resilience. Its losses echo the Bradley's exposure. The CV90's Barracuda cloak and robust armor elevate its survivability, though its smaller fleet and older variants curb its kill tally compared to the Bradley's tank-busting feats or the BMP-2's mass. Ukrainian operators extol its night optics and terrain agility, edges absent in Soviet relics, making it a standout in concealment and adaptability. The CV90's deeper significance in Ukraine lies in its operational and symbolic heft. It's a force multiplier for units like the 21st Brigade, amplifying combined arms in a war of static lines, drone swarms, and artillery barrages. Its firepower neutralizes infantry and light armor, its armor absorbs hits that shred BMPs, and its mobility navigates terrain that stalls heavier platforms. Yet with only 65 to 70 units, its reach is tactical, not transformative, a foil to the Bradley's scale or the BMP-2's ubiquity. Future infusions, especially if newer CV90-35 or Mark IV variants with ATGMs arrive, could tilt this balance, amplifying its anti-armor punch. For now, it's a bridge to a westernized force, its resilience proven in mud and fire. The war's drone-heavy evolution has tested its limits. Lancet strikes expose vulnerabilities, but its thermal masking and crew survival rates counterbalance these risks. Ukraine's co-production gambit with Sweden, aiming for 1,000 units, envisions the CV90 as a cornerstone of a rebuilt military, potentially standardizing its IFV fleet around a platform that blends Scandinavian precision with battlefield grit. Culturally, the CV90 carries weight beyond steel. Ukrainian troops transitioning from Soviet hulks to Western tech have embraced its reliability, dubbing it a Swedish shield in anecdotal reports. Its presence signals NATO's creeping footprint, a morale boost amid grinding losses. Conversely, Russian propaganda has seized on captured units to claim superiority, though the CV90's low loss rate undercuts such narratives. By March 2025, it stands as a potent emblem of Ukraine's defiance and adaptation, a machine that, while not yet decisive, lays groundwork for a mechanized renaissance. If production ramps up and losses are stemmed, the CV90 could evolve from a tactical asset to a strategic pillar, reshaping Ukraine's war machine for the long haul. For now, it's a beacon of resilience, its tracks etching a path toward a future where Western aid and Ukrainian resolve converge.